Hello everyone, welcome back to the Global Conflict News channel. Please don't forget to subscribe for the latest updates and detailed analysis of the world's most critical military and geopolitical events. Tonight, we dive deep into the shocking overnight assault that left Ukraine once again under a blanket of fire and smoke. From the exterior view, this attack was massive and carefully coordinated. Russian forces deployed a combination of Shahed 136 drones, cruise missiles, and Iskander tactical ballistic weapons. According to Ukrainian officials, more than 480 drones were launched in waves across multiple regions, including Kyiv, Lviv, and Odesa. Each wave came just minutes apart, designed to overwhelm Ukraine's radar systems and exhaust its air defenses. On the radar, the operation looked like a swarm, hundreds of blips moving in coordinated paths, surrounding the cities from multiple directions. Russian forces reportedly used satellite navigation and relay drones to maintain communication over long distances, showcasing the growing sophistication of their aerial warfare tactics. The explosions that followed were deafening. Buildings shook, glass shattered, and the night turned red as fire engulfed entire blocks. For those watching from the ground, it felt like the sky itself had turned against them. The interior side of this story, what was happening within Ukraine, was just as intense, though much more human. Inside underground shelters, families huddled together, holding on to each other as the sounds of anti-aircraft fire rattled above. Emergency teams rushed through the streets, navigating debris and flames to reach the injured. Power outages spread across cities as energy sites were struck, plunging millions into darkness. Hospitals switched to backup generators while fire brigades battled blazes that erupted in residential areas. For many Ukrainians, this was not just another attack, it was a reminder that the war had no boundaries, that safety was an illusion even deep inside their own homes. In cities like Kharkiv and Mykolaiv, residents described the night as endless, each explosion followed by another wave of terror. Despite the chaos, Ukraine's defense forces maintained communication, coordinating intercept missions with remarkable efficiency. Within hours, they claimed to have destroyed over 75% of the incoming drones, but the psychological damage was already done. In terms of performance, this assault revealed a great deal about Russia's evolving military strategy. The operation demonstrated not just scale but also precision. Each drone seemed to follow a calculated route, adapting to Ukrainian jamming attempts and radar interference. Reports suggest that Russia's defense industry has been refining drone software to resist GPS jamming and improve flight stability over long distances. The strike also highlighted the massive industrial effort behind such an attack. Launching nearly 500 drones in one night requires production speed, logistical coordination, and trained operators on a national scale. Analysts note that Russia's drone performance this time was far superior compared to previous months, suggesting that Moscow is receiving consistent support in drone technology and components, possibly from foreign sources. The synchronization between drones and missiles allowed Russia to overwhelm defenses, forcing Ukraine to divide its interception resources between multiple fronts. It was a chilling demonstration of how warfare has shifted from battalions and tanks to algorithms and automated machines. But even in this brutal performance, there was another story unfolding: Ukraine's defensive resilience. The country's air defense systems, including the American-supplied Patriot and German Iris-T units, were pushed to their limits but held strong. Each interception was a testament to months of training, coordination, and technological adaptation. Ukrainian defense teams managed to shoot down hundreds of drones using both modern systems and older Soviet-era equipment, proving that improvisation and determination could still stand against advanced weaponry. The battle in the sky was a technological duel, missiles guided by AI clashing with defenses coordinated through real-time radar tracking. The performance of both sides underscored one undeniable truth: modern warfare is no longer about sheer power but about precision, timing, and adaptation. When it comes to safety features, both nations have taken extreme measures to protect their populations and assets. In Ukraine, the safety network is based on early warning systems, underground shelters, and mobile response teams. Civil defense sirens, though sometimes delayed, have saved thousands of lives by giving citizens precious minutes to take cover. The government has invested heavily in decentralizing its power infrastructure, creating smaller grid nodes to reduce the impact of strikes on energy supply. On the Russian side, safety measures have focused on shielding critical regions near the border, like Belgorod and Bryansk, from Ukrainian drone retaliation. Anti-air defense grids have been reinforced with electronic warfare systems designed to jam incoming drones before they reach populated areas. However, as both sides continue escalating their capabilities, the line between safety and vulnerability grows thinner each day. In modern war, no system is fully secure, every advancement is met with a countermeasure, every defense invites a new form of attack. The unique selling points of this operation, if viewed from a purely analytical standpoint, lie in its strategic messaging and technological symbolism. For Russia, this was more than an attack, it was a declaration of capability. The massive scale was intended to send a message not only to Ukraine but also to NATO and the West, that Russia still commands the resources, production capacity, and coordination to conduct large-scale offensives despite economic sanctions. The use of swarming drones represented a new frontier of military innovation, thousands of small, inexpensive, semi-autonomous machines replacing traditional air raids. It was psychological warfare as much as physical destruction, designed to instill fear and exhaustion in both civilians and military personnel. For Ukraine, however, the unique selling point came through endurance. Each successful interception, each drone neutralized, was proof of resistance. Despite limited resources, Ukraine continues to adapt, building domestic drones, upgrading its defense systems, and maintaining morale through sheer willpower. The world saw not just destruction but defiance, a smaller nation holding its ground against a militarily superior adversary using technology and intelligence as its strongest weapons. In terms of price, the cost of this conflict is staggering, financially, militarily, and emotionally. Each Shahed drone, estimated to cost between $20,000 and $50,000, represents just a fraction of what it takes to intercept it. A single Patriot missile used for defense can cost over $3 million. This imbalance has created an unsustainable economic strain, especially for Ukraine, which relies heavily on Western aid to replenish its air defense stock. On the Russian side, while drone production is cheaper, the logistics, fuel, and supply chain maintenance for hundreds of simultaneous launches demand massive expenditure. Both nations are bleeding resources daily, pouring billions into a war that shows no sign of slowing down. But beyond financial costs lies the deeper human price. Civilians have lost their homes, families are separated, and entire generations are growing up under the shadow of war. The cost of this conflict cannot be measured in currency, it is etched in trauma, loss, and uncertainty. As the smoke clears and dawn breaks over the scarred cities, the conclusion of this latest attack is as somber as it is familiar. Ukraine stands battered but unbroken. Russia, powerful yet increasingly isolated, continues to project strength through destruction. The world watches anxiously as each new escalation edges closer to a dangerous tipping point. The skies that once carried peaceful airliners and morning light now carry the weight of war machines and fear. This overnight assault has once again reminded humanity of how fragile peace truly is. The long-term impact of such continuous attacks is reshaping the future of warfare and global security. Drones, artificial intelligence, and cyber systems are now the dominant forces in conflict, replacing conventional battles with remote-controlled chaos. Every strike is recorded, analyzed, and learned from, turning the war into a laboratory for next-generation weapons and defense systems. The balance of power is no longer measured by the size of an army but by the quality of its code, sensors, and adaptability. Ukraine's resilience, backed by Western technology and public support, is changing how smaller nations confront larger aggressors. Russia's persistent use of swarming tactics, on the other hand, is redefining offensive strategy for future conflicts around the world. But at the heart of it all, beyond the machines, lies the unchanging essence of war, human suffering, courage, and survival. Inside the ruins, firefighters pull survivors from debris. Soldiers share their last rations in frozen trenches. Families light candles for loved ones lost in the night. The human story continues, even as technology advances. The world can witness, analyze, and debate, but for those on the ground, it remains a fight for existence. As the world wakes up to the aftermath of this massive overnight assault, one truth stands out clearly: this is not just a war between two nations, it is a war between endurance and aggression, between resilience and power. Each explosion, each interception, adds another chapter to a story that defines our modern era. The night might have belonged to destruction, but the morning still belongs to those who survive, rebuild, and refuse to give up. And as always, we will continue to follow every development closely, bringing you the latest analysis and updates here on Global Conflict News. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay informed about the realities shaping our world today.